Hey there, I'm Sam Ferris. I'm a photographer from Sydney, Australia, specialising in street photography. Been shooting for about 10 years. So I'm very lucky to have the Fujifilm GFX100RF, a new medium format camera from Fujifilm. It's kind of a groundbreaking camera in many ways because it fills that gap between cameras like the X100 and the X Pro series and the bigger GFX models that are kind of more cumbersome to lug around on the street. This is really light, beautiful milled aluminium body, easy to wheel with one hand, which is a big thing for me, to kind of have a camera that's not going to put too much stress on my arm or my wrist, carrying it around all day. And it's really low profile, low key camera, but it's got a lot of power in it. This time of day, it should be hitting around the station as people start heading home. It's usually a good spot to hit up. So at the moment I'm on 28mm for street. I think it's probably the best focal length to fit everything in your frame that you want to get and get a nice depth and layers going on. I've shot 35 and 50 over the years, and I find the more experienced I get, the more cramped I feel on the street, and I've gone from 50 to 35 to 28 over the years just to get a bit closer to the subject and fit more in. So over the years, I think I've developed strategies on the street to kind of become, I guess, unseen, unnoticed, be immersed and make candid pictures. That's really what I'm interested in. I'm not really interested in talking to the subject, engaging or posing or anything like that. I try to leave the scene unbruised in that way. So the 28 allows me to do that because I think, like, you're shooting so close a lot of the time that people will often think that you're shooting something beyond them or behind them. So 28's been really good in that way, just kind of either position yourself on a corner or at the traffic lights or something like that and stay still, and the crowd really moves around you, and you can pivot in and out and kind of move. And if you act confident and like you're meant to be there, then people really won't have a problem with what you're doing. Just saying, like, this is always a good spot because everyone's coming and going. Like, I try and find spots where there's going to be multiple kind of entrances and exits, because getting that dynamic kind of people coming in and out of the frame is always really good. Because of the size and form factor and weight of this, it's much easier to shoot at those slow shutter speeds. Before, with the heavy cameras, if you're holding it by hand, you're moving around a lot and you're going to get a blurry image. Here, shooting on the slow shutter, it's really easy to hold it steady. So even one-handed, shooting in the evening, blue hour, it's a great camera to use. It's an all-in-one camera, you can do it all, and one of those features is the film simulations. So you can actually apply Fujifilm simulations to your photos in camera. Films like Velvia, which are like a classic kind of really saturated film, and get that look on your photos, which looks great on a sunny day shooting in Sydney. I love all the dials. I love the kind of tactile feel of this. I love kind of having that control and locking things in. I'm not a fan of kind of setting menus and not remembering kind of what I've done. So having something really easy to kind of manipulate, like a shutter setting with a little click for each kind of shutter stop. You pull it out and you can change your ISO on the go. It's got the exposure compensation, the apertures on the lens, like it's all manual and it's all there for you at your fingertips. So that's really important to me, like changing settings on the go, and wanting that kind of instant kind of change with my fingertips. It's you can't beat it on a camera like this. This shot here is like a good one to take advantage of the tilty flippy screen. Because I'm quite tall, I find myself having to angle down quite a lot, and that eliminates some of the layers that I'm looking for. I'd say shooting on the street, you'd need maybe 2 or 3 batteries with this camera to get through a full day, or change your settings so you're not going on live view with the screen all the time, and you're kind of keeping everything minimal so it's not eating away your power. The great thing is, though, that on the street, you can quickly charge via the USB port there. So I had a portable charger with me, a power bank, and I plugged it straight in. I waited about 15 minutes and the battery had kind of gone back up enough to keep shooting and not worry about the camera turning off mid-shoot. So it does have the typical kind of battery life problem that a lot of cameras have, but it can be solved really easily just by bringing a power bank or those spare batteries. The high-speed burst is 6 frames per second, or there's an option for 4 frames per second. That halves, though, when you use the electronic shutter, it goes down to 3 frames per second. So the viewfinder on this is 1/2 inch OLED EVF, approximately 5.7 million dots. It's a very good quality viewfinder. I've found what you see is what you get through it. It's not the case with all the digital cameras I've had over the years that have relied on EVF. The colors and the rendition and the light and shadow are really accurate. And I found as I was shooting with it that that everything I was seeing is what I was getting in the photo. Yeah, so it's also got the touchscreen LCD tilty flippy screen that comes out, 2.1 million dots, really good resolution on that, allows live view or a couple of different views that you can get with it. There's got the histogram on it if you need it, or your settings. So it's a really useful tool to have when you're shooting, especially like if you're shooting not at eye level and you're holding it above or below. That screen's a real advantage to see your frame, and you can even put frame lines on it to compose, and there's a level, and it really allows for full control. So I see this more as a stills camera rather than a video camera, but it's very capable of doing video. You can shoot it 1080 at 59.94 frames a second, so just under 60, or it does the 4K at just under 30 frames a second at 29.97. At these ratios, you can shoot at 422 10-bit, which means you get better color and rendition in your video. The Fujifilm GFX100RF has a 102 megapixel sensor. It's a CMOS 2 sensor. It's one of the best on the market. It's got dual slot SD cards, so you can have 2 SD cards in there. Probably need it because the files are pretty big. So I had 228 gigabyte cards in at the moment, and that gets me around 797 shots per card. So at the moment I have the camera set to capture both RAW and JPEG. And with those settings, I'm getting around 956 files on each card. So it's a 128 gigabyte card. It's got the dual slots. I've got 2 cards in the moment. So it's got the capacity for a kind of full day shooting there. So it's 956 compressed, and then if I change the settings to uncompressed, I think it was around 797 files per card. So like most Fujifilm cameras, this one performs well in low light. Looking at files at 3200 ISO, they look really good on the screen. There's no pixelation, no grain. On the dial here, you can go up to 8000 ISO. In the settings, you can get up to 102,400 ISO. So the camera has both the electronic shutter and mechanical shutter, both really fast. So the GFX100RF comes equipped with a fixed f4 35mm lens. That means on the medium format, it works out at a 28mm focal length and a 3.2 aperture. The reason why they did this is to keep the lens nice and small, portable, not big and clunky. It's great during the daytime. In all daylight situations, it's enough. Just at nighttime and low light situations, you might want a bit more in your aperture, but you've got the ISO power there to back you up. One last thing about the lens, it comes with a filter thread size of 49mm. So for those of you who like to attach a filter while you're shooting, that's the size you need. One thing I noticed straight away about this camera is the craftsmanship and the quality of the build. The aluminium body is all milled out of a single piece of aluminium, so it's got that really solid feel. The lens hood and all the accessories are really nice. They have a great feel about them, very luxurious. You can actually take these off, and the camera actually goes down really nice and compact and small. And that's just about a pocketable medium format camera once you take these off. So everything feels really high quality, really luxurious. It's got a great kind of feel about it, including the strap. I noticed the strap's like a really nice high quality strap. It's a thick rope strap, feels secure and safe. It's got beautiful leather finishing on it. On the street, like this makes me feel like the camera is really secure around my neck at all times. And I can have it around my neck like this and kind of shoot, or I can take it off really easily, wrap it around one-handed, and kind of do a bit of handheld shooting that way as well. Really nice quality strap to go with this camera. I mean, I shoot with a flash, and this has got the hot shoe obviously, and it's got all the settings you can dial in. I had a bit of a look, and you can do the kind of front rear curtain type thing. So it's great if you're kind of a street shooter who shoots a bit of flash. Like, I know that's a really popular subgenre of street, or part of street photography. Like if you look at photographers like Bruce Gilden, Mark Cohen, like using flash on the streets, part of the genre. This allows you to like mount a flash or have a cable flash and kind of do that sort of thing with the camera really easily, because it's, as I said before, it's like easy to wheel with one hand, and if you've got the flash and kind of doing that, like it's going to be like a good time. Yes, there's two ways on this camera to change the aspect ratio while you're shooting. There's a dial in the back, so you can go from 4:3 to 3:2 to 16:9 to 65:24, 17:6 to 3:4 to 1:1. So really a range of options, and you can do all that on the front of the camera as well while the camera is up to your eye with that little switch there that Fujifilm have added to this camera. The GFX100RF has retained the front lever switch as well, which is on a lot of the other Fuji cameras where you're switching between optical and EVF. On this camera, because it doesn't have the optical viewfinder, you can actually set that as an extra function button that allows you to set it to a range of different things to customize your shooting experience. There's the dial in the back, which a lot of the Fuji cameras have, which switches between manual, continuous and single focus. I tend to use the manual setting because I like the feel of kind of setting a zone for street photography. Those of you who like to shoot on autofocus though will find that this is a pretty good experience. Again, it's maybe not as quick as a DSLR, but it doesn't hunt as much, and it is a lot more accurate, especially in bright daylight, than I've noticed with previous Fujifilm cameras. So the improvements in autofocus on this camera, it has phase detect and contrast detect autofocus, making a lot more accurate, especially in bright daylight situations. So overall, this camera is filling a gap in the market between the X100 and the GFX cameras. I can see it being a great camera for street photography. If you like the idea of a medium format and experimenting with that on the street, this could be the camera for you. So thanks to Fujifilm for letting me have a play with the GFX100RF. If you're interested in this camera or finding out more about it, visit georges.com.au, or you can visit the blog. And if you found this video useful, like and subscribe, and I'll see you out on the streets.